On October 11th, 1991, Apple Computer Company reaches an agreement with the Beatles record company Apple Corps, paying $26.5 million for the rights to run music software. The story of Apple versus Apple is fascinating on many levels, as it pitted two cultural icons of modern history against each other for nearly 30 years. The Beatles founded Apple Corps in London at the height of their popularity in 1968. More than a record label, Apple Corps was a conglomerate that included electronics, films, publishing, and retail. The company name Apple Corps, C-O-R-P-S, is of course a pun on Apple Core, C-O-R-E. 8 years later, in 1976, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne formed Apple Computer Company in Jobs' parents' home in Los Altos, California. The company's name was proposed by Jobs, who was on a fruitarian diet at the time and had recently visited an apple orchard in Oregon. He thought the name, quote, sounded fun, spirited, and not intimidating, end quote. He also liked that it would get the company listed ahead of Atari in the phone book. The founders also appreciated the connection to Isaac Newton as one of history's great innovators. Wayne designed the company's first logo to reflect that link. Apple Computer soon changed its logo to a much simpler one. Apple Corps first sued Apple Computer for trademark violation in 1978. The two parties agreed to a settlement in 1981, wherein Apple Computer would pay Apple Corps $80,000. The companies carved out a coexistence in the deal where Apple Computer agreed to stay out of the music business, and Apple Corps promised to steer clear of any computer enterprise. As technology advanced in the 1980s, Apple Computer introduced the Macintosh, which featured enhanced sound capabilities. At the time, the Musical Instrument Digital Interface, or MIDI, was beginning to revolutionize the music industry. This led to a clash, and Apple Corps alleged that Macintosh's sound capabilities violated the 1981 agreement. On October 11, 1991, the two companies reached an updated compromise, where Apple Computer paid Apple Corps $26.5 million and was allowed to use the Apple logo for computers, data processing, and telecommunications, but was forbidden from selling physical music materials. In 2001, Apple Computer made a move that would save the then struggling company by releasing iTunes and the iPod. The only problem? This seemed a direct violation of the 1991 settlement with Apple Corps. In response, in 2003, Apple Corps filed suit once again. In 2007, the two sides came to yet another settlement. In this final deal, Apple Computer, which by then had changed its name to Apple Inc., took full ownership of the Apple trademark and logos and agreed to license certain trademarks back to Apple Corps. Although the terms remain undisclosed, reports indicate that Apple Inc. paid Apple Corps $500 million in the deal. Apple Inc. CEO Steve Jobs said of the settlement, quote, "We love the Beatles, and it has been painful being at odds with them over these trademarks. It feels great to resolve this in a positive manner and in a way that should remove the potential of further disagreements in the future." End quote. The Beatles' music first appeared on iTunes 3 years later in 2010. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1793, deaths from a Philadelphia yellow fever epidemic hit 100 and later reached 5,000. In 1899, war breaks out in South Africa between the British Empire and the Boer republics. In 1915, Bulgaria announces its entrance into World War I on the side of the Central Powers. In 1968, Apollo 7, the first manned Apollo mission, launches on an 11-day orbit of Earth. In 1971, former Beatle John Lennon releases the beloved and influential song Imagine. In 1975, Saturday Night Live debuts on NBC with comedian George Carlin as the first host. In 2002, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter is awarded the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. What year was the first spaceflight that carried a multi-person crew? 1962, 1963, 1964, or 1965? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right next time on Today in History. You made it through Today in History. Nice work. Now treat yourself. Click the video on the right for what happened yesterday in history. Still can't get enough? The link on the left's got the whole playlist buffet. Want to make history a daily habit? Click my face in the middle to subscribe.